Hey guys, this is Gene at DNS Bait. This report's current as of Monday the 22nd. Sorry for the delay. I somehow missed it last week. Give me a call if you notice I do that. Lake Mendota, the water temperature's cooled off over here. We were looking at 84, 85 degrees last week. Now it's about 80. I don't think that's changed a whole lot as far as the fishing goes. The perch action seems to be dispersed a little bit, although there are still quite a few guys doing quite well out here. Over on the west side, the Hatch Cover Spring Harbor area, those fish are still around. They just seem to be broke up into smaller schools and a little more difficult to put numbers together, but I know guys that are still doing pretty well. Second Point's been pretty good at times. Over off Governor's Island on the Warner Bay side, I know some guys have done pretty good there at times. Tenney Park, I know some guys have been doing a few. Burley Street, some. Edgewater, some. Over on Picnic Point, all those areas have been producing some bluegills or perch at times. Bluegills up tight to the weeds. I haven't heard any big numbers, but there's some pretty nice fish. We've picked up a few bluegills when we've been perch fishing tight to the weeds. Otherwise, white bass action seems to be kind of slow, and then the smallmouth guys are getting a few smallmouth out off the bars, and I'm even hearing some walleyes out off the bars in about 24, 25 feet of water, trolling crawler harnesses and bottom bouncers, and even some leeches. Lake Monona, the bluegill action still seems to be pretty good. There's some smaller fish out suspended on the lake. The bigger ones seem to be relating to the shoreline, to the weed lines and some rocks. Look for those fish in 12 to 20 feet of water. Just fishing vertical works out pretty well. But again, some weeds and rocks seem to be holding some of the bigger fish, the combination. Some areas to look: Wild Haven, Hudson Park, Sluter Beach, off the rock pile at Squaw Bay, Turville Point, Olin Park. All those places have had some pretty decent bluegill action off those weed lines. So there's even some perch on those weed edges tight to the weeds, like by Turville and Olin Park. And then there's some perch out on the flat between the rock pile and Turville Point, and even behind the rock pile on the Squaw Bay side. Sometimes you got to look. There's some perch cruising around in there too. Over from Obrick, between Obrick and Eastside Businessman, out in there is typically a good place to look for perch out in about 20 feet of water, 22 feet of water. I've not had that report, but if I was out there, I'd be looking in that area. I haven't heard a lot of muskie action when that water temp gets so warm. Most of the muskie guys seem to slow down and stop going until the water cools down a little bit. Lake Wabeesa, I've been hearing a little bit of bluegill action, shallow still. Babcock Park area and down on the south end a little bit. There's some bluegills suspended. I've been hearing some walleyes by guys trolling down the main lake basin down over there with some crawler harnesses and even some crankbaits. Lake Kegonsa, every once in a while I get a nice report of perch out in about 16 foot of water on a mud flat. I assume they're kind of over on that north side of the lake, although that's an assumption. Nobody actually told me where they were. And they've been getting a few nice bluegills too. There's some cribs over there in about 15 feet of water. We're getting a few bluegills, even a few walleyes off those. I really don't have much else for you right now. I do have a pretty good supply of hellgrammites in the area, so if you're out here perch fishing, stop by and get some of those. And that's about it. So guys, if you need any help thing, you can give me a call here at the store, 608-241-4225, or you can use the website. That's what you're on, dsbait.com, or if you're on the road and it's more convenient to use the phone report, that number is 608-244-3474. That spells Big Fish, 244-3474. Thanks, guys.